So in this video, we're going to start applying gravity to our main character here. But before I do that, there's a few things that I want to set up. The first thing I want to do is I actually want to make my scene a little bit bigger. We're just kind of working with the default iPhone size right now. But that's okay. Our camera will always remain that size, but we want to increase our scene a little bit so that we have a larger level that we can start building. And to do this, all I'm going to do is go over to the Scene tab here. So I'll click on that, and that gives me some attributes that we can start working with for our scene. And you'll notice that in the Scene tab, there's a size here. So by default, we're just at this 480 by 320. I'm just going to double click and make this something like 2000 by 2000. You can change this at any given time to fit the scene that you want. So you see now that my scene has completely increased in size, and I'm going to have to use these scroll bars to kind of navigate back to where my secret agent is. Now what we want to do is we want to bring in a block that our agent can kind of fall and stand on top of. So I'm going to go back to my Media tab up here at the top. We'll click on our Media tab, and we're going to scroll down to the block image. And just like we did before, we want to click and drag and drop that block image onto the Actor tab. And that's going to open up the Actor tab, and then we can drop that here inside the Actor. So if we open up the All tag, you'll see that we have our agent and we have Actor 1, which is our block. So what I want to do at this point is rename Actor 1 to block. Again, I can't stress enough, renaming all of your artwork to something that you understand is going to help you so much down the road when you're programming everything. And then the second thing I want to do now is I want to create a new tag. So you see this tag button up here? I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to just rename this Collide. And we're going to drag and drop block into the Collide tag. So you can see we still have the block in all, but we just have it duplicated in the Collide tag. And you're going to see in a moment why that's important, because we want to take the agent and make him collide with that block. So let's click on our agent actor, and again we're going to open up Backstage here by clicking on the Backstage button. And we've set up some easy movement, which makes our agent move left and right. But what we want to do now is just create a gravity effect for our agent. So I'm simply just going to type in the word move, and we'll select the move behavior. And right now, if we were to preview this, we're going to see our agent pay attention to the angle right here. So we can see that he moves to the right. So of course, because this is gravity, we want to take this dial, turn it down, or type in the number 270 for straight down. We'll keep it at 300. That's fine. And I can rename the word move to gravity, just so I know what this behavior does. And then we can fold that down. We're not going to put it inside a rule or anything. We just want our agent being pulled down. As we can see, he's being pulled down here. So now what we want to do is we want to create something that our agent can actually land on, which is this block that we created earlier. So if I toggle out of Backstage, and I drag this block just into my stage here, you'll notice something very interesting when I grab these corners. If I grab this corner and pull this out here, you can see that we're just stretching out the artwork that the block is made out of. We don't want that. There may be a situation where you do want to do this, but it pretty much destroys the artwork. So you want to avoid doing this, because you can see how it's getting all pixelated in the corners here. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that right now. And what we want to do is click on the block, and we're going to click on this Actor tab down here so that we can pay attention to some of the attributes for this block actor. So you'll notice, if we scroll down here, under Graphics, we have a horizontal wrap and a vertical wrap. And right now it's set to stretched, which is why when you saw that I clicked and dragged the corners of that block, the image stretched out. So we want to switch this to tile for both the horizontal and vertical wrap. So again, all I did was click on the block. It doesn't matter which block you click on. I clicked on the block, I clicked on the Actor tab, and then I switched the vertical wrap and the horizontal wrap to tile. Now, if I redrag the block, so delete any blocks you have in your stage and redrag it from the actor bin here, you can see when I click and drag, now we're actually tiling the block over the stage. And what's great about that is we can very quickly build all sorts of levels with just one block image. And another positive effect is this block image is actually a very small image. It's only a few kilobytes. And if I were to build an entire level like this by tiling this block, instead of all of this artwork being processed and actually making my game file size much bigger, it's actually only about the size of that one block there. So we actually don't increase our game size by using this tile method. So I'm just going to delete a few of these guys. And we'll just leave one of our blocks here for our agent to fall on. So if I were to preview this now, you can see our agent just falls right through our block. So this is where we need to apply a collide behavior. So to do this, all I'm going to do is click on our agent. And again, we're going to open up the backstage for our agent. And what we want to do is we want to create a collide interaction with that block. So in this box right here, I'm just going to type in the word collide. I'll click on that. And we can choose actor type or actor tab. And as I pointed out earlier, we created that actor tag called collide. So we're going to switch this to actor tag. And then we're going to switch this to the collide tag that we created. If we didn't create that, you wouldn't see that here in this pull down. So now our agent will collide with anything that exists inside this collide tag here. So any actors I put here, our agent will come in contact with. So let's go ahead and preview this again. And now you can see our agent does collide and pushes that block off in outer space. So we want to stop the block from spitting out into outer space. So that's simple. We'll just click on our block actor. And then here inside the actor tab, under the attributes, we have this physics pull down. So let's go ahead and open up that physics pull down. And inside here we have a checkbox which is set to movable. We're going to uncheck that. So now that that's been unchecked for the block, if we preview this again, you can see our agent does come in contact with the block. It doesn't move the block, and our agent doesn't fall through the block. But you might notice something very strange happening right now, which is our agent is doing this kind of little jittery, jumpy effect. And that's because every actor that you create in GameSalad has a certain bounciness property associated with it inside physics. And we want to change the bounciness both for our main actor and our block here. So it's very simple to do. We'll select our block actor. And again, we're on our actor tab here. And we have our physics pull down open again. And you'll notice that bounciness value right here. I'm just going to double click on that and turn that to 0. But even with that to 0, again, if I preview this, you can see our agent is still doing that same jitter bounce effect. And that's because our agent is also bouncy. So we're going to click on our agent here in the actor tab. Again, the actor attribute tab down here is selected. And what we want to do is go to the physics for our agent. And then bounciness, again, we're going to double click on that and turn that to 0. So let's go ahead and preview this. So now we have our agent that falls with gravity and comes in contact. And of course, I can use my arrow keys to move my agent back and forth. And that's working perfectly. So there's one other thing that we want to look at before we finish up with this video. So if I jump back here to my workspace, and let's say I were to design this level a little bit differently. So I'll just put this set of blocks over here. And then we're going to put one more block over on this side. And we'll just get that lined up quickly. and we preview this, you can see that the agent does respect everything that we set up earlier, but if I move close to the edge here, watch what happens. See how my agent can kind of walk down this wall? And then if I back up, we can get him to walk back over here like that. Now, this might be very interesting to you, and that might be exactly what you want your game to do. But in this game and this tutorial, we're not going to have our agent walk up and down walls. So to change this, we just need to make sure that our agent has a fixed rotation. And again, we find this in the Physics tab. So we'll just go ahead and back up. We'll make sure that our agent is selected here in the Actor tab. And then in the Attributes Actor tab down here, we are going to go back to the Physics. So we'll just open that up. And then again in Physics, you'll notice that there's this checkbox here called Fixed Rotation. If we check that and then preview this, you'll notice that our actor will get to the edge here, and instead of rotating just off the edge, he'll actually fall off the edge, which is exactly what we want. So let's say I were to extend this block out quite a bit, and then preview my game. Well, my agent can kind of walk right off screen here. And what we want to start doing is having the camera follow our agent so we can start exploring a level. So again, we're going to click on our agent. We're going to make sure we're in the backstage of our agent by clicking the backstage. And what we want to do is type in a very simple behavior. So type in the word control, and then you're going to see control camera here. So we're going to click on control camera. So very simple behavior, just control camera. So we want our agent to drive the camera. Again, I'm going to toggle back to my workspace. And if we preview this, you notice that our agent now actually moves the camera left and right. And the one last thing that we want to do is we want to adjust the tolerance of the camera so that our agent doesn't have to walk all the way to the end of the screen before it starts pushing the camera. So if I preview this, you can see that our agent has to walk all the way to the edge of the screen before he starts pushing that camera, which is a little bit awkward. So to toggle this, next to the play button, we have this button right here. And if I click on that, while I'm in my workspace, if I click on that, you can see that we kind of get these yellow borders around the camera guides. And what I can do is I can bring those in a little bit. So I'm just going to bring those in to about the same size as my agent. So a little box like that. And then when I'm done, I'm going to click on this button one more time. And now you'll notice that when the agent moves, he actually starts pushing the camera much sooner. So depending on how soon you want an actor to move the camera will depend on those bars that you've adjusted. So if we want it to be instantaneous, again, we can adjust this and make it much smaller, smaller than our actor. And then if I preview this, you can see he moves the camera right away. So that's all there is for setting up gravity, collisions, and of course getting our main actor to control the camera. So what I'm going to do now is take a moment to set up an entire level. Nothing too complicated, but I won't bore you as I take the time to tediously set up all those individual pieces. But in the next video, we'll see a setup level, and then we can move on to our next set of behaviors and controls.